Yeah.
If you got pregnant right now, accidentally, would you get an abortion?
I don't know. It's never happened. It's up for who it is.
Wait,
It depends on who the father is.
Bruh.
It depends. I only sleep with wealthy men, so I'd probably keep it. What?
I just don't even know.
What? I don't
say.
sleep with broke men.
I know, but this nice lady though.
I never said she wasn't nice. I think she's beautiful.
At 17, she married a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
Sorry, at 18, she married a 20-year-old, and you're so butthurt about that.
Oh, I never said I was butthurt.
We were just that her poor husband, who's not even here to defend himself, fucking groomed her.
I do think it's grooming when you.
Psychopath.
Oh yeah, it's a psychopath. It's psychopathic to think that a teenager
should. See how she defends her husband?
Oh,
that's why she.
Yeah, sure, it's great.
That's why she has one, because she's here defending him. Kudos to this.
I've been proposed to.
Andrew,
you act like I'm like some amphibian.
Andrew.
Are we gonna get a Rachel cameo, by the way? Here,
I don't. I'm actually scared of your wife. I know she's gonna demolish me. Like I already know.
Here, let's get back to let's try to get through it. So we have got some more notes here. Going back to you,
I think
Jazz.
you're beautiful, by the way. We just have disagreements.
No, you are too.
Yeah.
So Jazz, you said
feel free to jump in. Whenever,
no. We need to get through all the notes here, Jazz. So okay, Jazz, you said about me and Andrew. Maybe it was just about me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said the following. You spew misogynistic, pseudo-intellectual, red-pilled bro ideas and care about stressing traditional gender roles when gender is extremely complex, and anyone in academia understands the evolution of human society and gender. We are much more advanced than animals. Not sure you've caught on to that. Now, before I have Andrew jump in, a few clarifying questions. Misogynistic, pseudo-intellectual, red-pilled bro ideas. I'd like to first maybe define our terms. What is misogyny?
Hating women. I do think y'all are misogynists.
Okay. So, how?
I think it's if you think that women have a certain role in society, and if they don't fit that role, then they're deemed inadequate as a woman. Then I think that's misogynistic.
Before I respond to that, actually, I'll respond to that, then I'll get other examples of the alleged misogyny. Didn't earlier you raise your hand 7 times when I asked you, should men do X? And they were all related to male traditional gender roles. So by your own logic, then you would be a misandrist.
Okay. But I'm not saying I hate men.
Okay.
If I say I want them to walk on, I respect when they walk on that side of the sidewalk to protect me, then that's...
From what? What are they protecting you from?
The cars passing.
So you would essentially... But
I'm not saying I hate men.
Well, actually, but I think it's... You might not hate men, but you have a misandrist view towards men. Stop fucking talking, lady. So you have a misandrist view towards men, and I'll explain it as follows. You think men are disposable because you think... a man can protect me from an oncoming car. He's disposable because he should die on my behalf.
No, personally, I just think it's like a respect thing, and that they value me and care. If they're willing to put themselves in a position like that, it's not necessarily, I think they're disposable. My world would be shattered if if that accident happened with them. They're not disposable.
Right, but you're saying men should sacrifice themselves for women or for you.
No, I'm just saying I think it's a good characteristic for someone to be like, I'll step on this side in case of some sort of event that's
So what's stopping me from saying I think it's a good characteristic for women to adhere to their traditional gender roles? You seem to say that points to misogyny, so then surely it must point to you being a misandrist.
Okay, if you want to draw that conclusion.
Okay, so we're just going to call each other misandrist and misogynist, or are we going to actually
back up
these assertions with actual evidence for the claims?
The way that you talk to women on this podcast, I think
What's
is
an example of
disrespectful.
how
calling someone like a prostitute in a derogatory way.
I didn't say that. That was Andrew. But if she is actually a prostitute,
but you're saying in a
misogynist to pay for a young couple's honeymoon.
What's a huckleberry?
That's very kind. I'm not taking away from that.
Your wife called me a huckleberry. What is it?
Very misogynistic, right?
It doesn't mean that everything you do has to be in the vein of hating women. I'm just saying.
But if I hated women, why would I assist women?
I mean, you're giving them their honeymoon, but still,
wait. I'm
Again,
sorry.
she's
Wait
a woman that agrees with your idea.
Right. So if it also benefits a man, then that means
No, but she's also a woman that agrees with your ideology.
Period.
No, you know what? I don't know if she agrees with my ideology.
Oh, she has, and you've seen it.
No,
Here's what I-
actually, no. If you're a stripper, excuse me,
Is that
if you're a
you
stripper,
people
that doesn't mean
viciously
you're a
attack
fucking sex
This
worker.
woman for the crime of being happily fucking married because you're nutcase.
I completely support
I did not
her.
viciously attack her. We were having a discussion.
Bullshit. You're lying through your teeth. Revisionist.
Tell me, give me
feminist
verbatim
nonsense.
how I viciously attacked her.
Yeah, here's how you viciously attacked her.
Okay.
You said that her husband groomed her.
Yes.
And that her marriage was invalid because of it.
I never said it was
Those are
invalid.
the
I said
words-
she was groomed. I never said invalid.
What do you think that means? That means to the audience, you shouldn't take anything that is said here with this marriage seriously because this guy groomed her. It was
right.
the worst, most scumbag, horrid thing to do to a young couple because you fucking people are so anti-natalist you can't stand to see a woman happy. Unbelievable.
That's your perception, but I
She's
never.
gonna go on a honeymoon and have 50 fucking
I hope
children
she
while you're
does. I hope
riding
she
the
has a
cock
great
carousel,
honeymoon
lady.
with the man that
Gotta
she.
go have 50 kids while you're riding the cock carousel. And
I
we're
love the
gonna-
cock
we're
carousel. It's
gonna
a
make
great
sure
fucking
she has that
time.
honeymoon
I
ever.
love in my mouth. It's fucking fantastic.
What? What the fuck?
All right, hold on. Let me bring it back here. Get off the meta conversation. Mike Davis, I see this. We do reads in batches. I see your 100. It's going to be batched. So, getting back to this,
Oh God.
can you provide actual examples of misogynistic statements that I've made?
I think the way.
Not even tonight. Any show.
Yes, clips I've seen how and what I've witnessed
Hmm.
today, where you say you prostitute, you sex worker, how
I
many
didn't-
dicks have you had
but-
in your
but,
mouth?
Just me. Just
well,
me. That's
you're more
Andrew.
of a moderator and a host. I feel like I
I mean,
don't
I
really
engage.
see you.
I engage in the debates, but you again though. Just to be clear, you sent this before Andrew said
Yes.
that tonight. So let's push that off to the side. What have I or Andrew said previously when you originally sent this that was misogynistic?
Every clip I've seen and other
But
people's
sure.
perception.
Okay, so there are clips you've seen. What specifically in the clips was
Yeah.
misogynistic?
How you speak to women and talk
Be
down upon
precise.
them. Yeah, because of their life choices, like with so much judgment
Give me an example.
about people doing OnlyFans. How is that not an example?
Give me an example of what I've said.
Oh, like specifically
Sure.
verbatim?
No, well, it doesn't have to be verbatim, but it could be sort of capturing the essence of what I said.
Saying that they don't have like decent morals or values because they participate in that sort of occupation is,
I don't think
is
I've-
the consensus that I have come to.
Sure, I don't think I've ever actually said that or something approaching that.
Okay.
But
Again, I don't have anything verbatim. It's just kind of the essence of.
yeah, but how would this being engaged in sex work? Men can engage in sex work. How would this be specifically?
Yes, but you
misogynistic?
demonize women way more for doing it. You have a podcast where you have 8 women come on who usually have an occupation in
Usually,
work.
usually have an occupation in sex work. Well, I would contest this. The majority of our guests don't do sex work. 15% of our guests have OnlyFans, and this actually isn't that. 15% of all the guests we've had, and we've had over 2,000 guests, only 15% of them have been involved in OnlyFans. So that typically the way
Maybe we can demonstrate it just in an easy way. Raise your hand at the table if you're involved in sex work.
Not anymore.
Okay, then.
well, there's there.
Chair
she didn't
one,
raise
do
her
you
hand.
judge women that
So
have participated?
about
He,
Well,
call, he
what-
calls girls that engage
First
in
of all,
sex.
I'm 52. I don't give a fuck.
I've judged
anymore.
women that
See?
participate.
I earned
She
my
doesn't give a
due. Not only give a
Like,
fuck
have
card.
She does
view
not give. She does
of
not give a
women
fuck.
that do that type of
50
work.
plus, yes.
I don't mean to have judged anyone.
I love that card.
Okay, it's
Yeah, no, I don't judge women who participate in sex work
I
at all.
love that card.
Okay, but how would, even if I grant to you that I've made judgments about women who do sex work, how would that be misogynistic? Couldn't I just have criticisms of sex work specifically?
Yeah, and you can have criticisms. There are valid criticisms.
Like, aren't you against like sex work and?
I think that it's a false sense of free will that women participate in. I
Wait.
feel like the structure of.
Earlier in the conversation, and I also think in the essay you wrote, you said that women are like. You mentioned hypersexualization. You think the sexualization of women is wrong. So, by your own admission, you must. I assume you're against sex work to some degree.
I think it's very dangerous for society, and I think it's kind of a facade of women empowerment. I think, if anything, it's reaffirming our role in society as just sexual beings.
Okay. So we're both misogynists together then, because
No, I don't disrespect women who are in that occupation. I don't speak down to them on being in those roles.
Okay.
I don't like the structure that exists that
Sure.
that says women
So-
should go into those
sure.
occupations without. But at the same time, I'm not demonizing
that's
anyone
fine.
who's participating
You're going to need
in
to
it.
be specific about what I've said that has been
Again, I don't have
specifically
anything-
misogynistic as it relates to women who come on the show who do sex work.
Yeah, I don't have anything verbatim or a quote.
Well,
it's
then-
just
sure, then-
I think the public perception is that you are disrespectful to women and that you do.
Okay, well,
engage
the
in-
public perception of you is that you're a man-hating misandrist.
She's not.
And you think men are disposable, and you're kind of a hypocrite as it relates to traditional gender
And
roles.
I denounce that, and then you denounce that you're a misogynist. So I guess that's fine.
But
Or that you're-
hang on. I gotta weigh in just briefly.
Go ahead.
Right. I agree with you that some of the things which I say or Brian says can be perceived as being misogynist towards certain women, but misogyny definitionally is a hatred of all women or some type of oppressive mentality towards all women. You would have
Agree.
to agree that that's true.
Agree.
So the thing is like, you can't possibly believe that because some women are fucking nasty bastards to us, and so we're nasty bastards back to them, that means we're misogynistic, meaning that we have some sort of ill intention towards all women. You can't actually believe that, do you?
No, I think there's nuance there.
that was misogyny, by the way. Well, I mean, that
Sorry
would-
I had to mansplain that, but
I mean, I would just say if you're not able to provide, like, again, you don't need to
I
be
didn't
like.
do homework for this. I thought it was a dating show. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
well, I mean,
Literally,
these are
you aired your
dating
criticisms,
issues.
but
These are pertinent dating issues.
yeah, very pertinent.
Where's like
But
the,
hold on. So, look, I'm not asking you to quote something verbatim, like if you.
Well, I've given you the best answer I can
if you give me the essence of what I've said, but you really haven't. And so essentially that which is asserted without evidence, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss without evidence.
Okay.
Can you give me one example, though? Just one example of something I've said that's misogynistic.
I think the ideology that you guys hold that our gender structure should consist of women's main value being reproduction and men doing these things are very limiting, and I think that is dangerous to both genders, and I think a lot of the times it comes off as misogynistic.
I have a question for you. Do you think in society, men or women are more limited in the roles that they can have when it comes to like romantic partners?
What do you mean when it comes to romantic
I'll just
partners?
lay out my argument then. So here's my position. I think women have choices. So a woman can be a career woman. Some women pull off both, although it's quite difficult. And I think Andrew would argue that it's suboptimal for a woman to be working and having children at the same time.
I would agree.
But also women can just be stay-at-home wives. They can
Yes.
find a guy who's
Yes.
okay with that dynamic.
Yes.
However, I would say most men don't have similar options. So I would say very, very few women would be okay being the sole breadwinner and being okay with that relationship dynamic, even if they're feminists like you, even if they're progressive liberals like you, by your own admission, despite your political leanings being very progressive, being very liberal, very leftist or feminist, it sounds like you want, at least on the male side of things, you want him to be falling pretty traditional when it comes to what he's bringing to the table.
But I want him to also not make me a homemaker, not to think that I'm, you know what I mean? I want a partner, and these are the characteristics I want in a partner.
But I would say that if you want, you can find a guy who's going to do 50-50 with you. You could also probably find a guy who's well off or he makes good money. And if you had a conversation with him, you could say, hey, I want to just stay at home, take care of the household. I don't know if you want kids.
But you're saying men don't have an option.
Men really don't.
I completely
like they
agree.
really don't have, like, the majority of men who could get away with saying, yeah, I have a job right now, but maybe a year into dating or a year into marriage, I just want to stop working and I just want to be a stay-at-home dad. I suppose some women might be okay with that. I'm not going to say no women would be okay with it, but I think it's a very, very,
Yes.
very small minority of women, even liberal, progressive feminist women, who are not going to be okay with that sort of arrangement. Whereas there are certain economic realities where, look, even if a man is traditional, maybe he's not making enough money. So the economic reality is, even if he is traditional, his wife might have to work. But he's going to be open to it if he does make enough money that he's going to be able to say, hey, you don't have to work. I'll be the sole breadwinner. You take care of the kids, stay home. Men don't have that choice. So this idea that women
Yeah, I
don't have
agree.
choice is